Lyme disease. Public health is combing other parts of the city, including over by the Rouge, searching for potentially infected insects. Good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. A special segment for you right now. And Frank's going to join me on this about something we didn't think we should be worried about in the city, but something we should be very worried about, and that is Lyme disease.
Yeah, so often we thought that this was something localized down to the United States. The CDC in the United States has identified this as one of the fastest growing diseases, and now indeed it's moved its way up, migrated, and each and every year we're hearing about more cases of Lyme disease and ticks.
So let's give you a little bit of the background. Black-legged ticks found on Algonquin Island last Friday. The variety can spread Lyme disease by biting a victim, but only if the tick carries the serious illness. The same type of tick was discovered last November in the Rouge Valley and did test positive. Health officials say it will take weeks to determine if the ticks found on the island carry the disease. So what is Lyme disease?
Well, as Kevin mentioned, the illness is spread by black-legged ticks, also known as deer ticks. It takes at least 24 hours for the disease to be transmitted after the insect bites its victim. The risk is the highest in spring and summer months. Ticks live in forests or grassy areas.
So some symptoms to look for. Stage 1 can cause fever, headache, muscle pain, fatigue, and a bullseye type of rash, but not always. Stage 2 symptoms include skin rashes, heart palpitations, arthritis, and extreme fatigue. Stage 3, severe arthritic joint pain and neurological problems. And we're going to be talking about this a little bit more at length on things you can do to protect yourself, such as wearing shoes, long sleeve shirts, tuck your pants into boots or socks, apply insect repellent containing DEET. So we have all this coming up. Now, Melanie is on her way right now over to Algonquin Island to bring us the very latest from the other side of the shore. Mel?
Hi, Kev. Good morning. We just boarded the ferry here and several people making their way on board as well, heading in that direction. As you know, a lot of people, this is the time for tourists making their way to the islands. Algonquin Island, you should know, is sort of a remote area within the islands there. And the risk is low. That's important to note. However, you should still be aware and still be educated. So we're going to make our way over there, talk to some of the residents as well. This is high time, as you know. Both you and Frank have been talking about it, sort of the late spring, early summer. So we hope to bring you more once we hit the other side in the next few minutes. Meantime, we're going back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mel. And joining us right now, we have two people who are going to help shed a little bit more light on really what is a very little known disease in urban areas. First of all, Paige Spencer has been living with the illness for about 14 years, only recently diagnosed. So we're going to find out why. And our friend Dr. Joelene Huber is also here to chat with us, a pediatrician who we call on all the time for her expertise. Let's start with you, if we could, Dr. Huber. Why would it take so long to diagnose this? Lyme disease is Lyme disease, isn't it?
Right. So because the tick is often not found or not seen, it's there for 24 hours, can be there up to 5 days and cause the infection. Only 50% of patients who get Lyme disease start with that typical bullseye rash, so you don't always have it, and you may just have some flu-like symptoms, and then it can progress, if untreated, to all of the multiple symptoms that you were talking about earlier, and then it becomes what we call the great imposter or the pretender, which can look like many other things. There's neurological symptoms involved, multi-system, skin, heart, and so it's hard to diagnose it sometimes in the later stages.
And I know some don't even know they've been bitten by a tick.
Yeah, for sure, you don't know, and that's why it's really important to be checking thoroughly for it.
So Paige, knowing now what you know now as opposed to then, excuse me, that's allergies.
Bless you.
That is allergies, I'm sorry. Tell me about your experience.
Well, what can I say, but it can be a living nightmare. I went undiagnosed for 14 years, and I've been on treatment for about almost 2 years now. I started on oral antibiotics, and then went to IV antibiotics, which I have a PICC line in my arm. And it can be anything from, you can experience any type of pain at all. As I said to the Toronto Sun, I said, I have not felt I felt pain in every single inch of my body. There hasn't been a spot in my body that I haven't felt pain. So this disease affects everything from neurological to physical to mental and even emotional.
And do you recall where,
do not
where it
recall.
may have come from? Because it's probably you were walking through somewhere where where are the ticks? Have you learned where these ticks are?
Well, unfortunately, they're all over. There's higher risk areas. I highly believe I got bit in the Rouge Valley because I spent most of my time there growing up hiking with my dog. And we never knew about Lyme disease. We never checked for ticks. But now it's becoming such a huge thing. They're taking over everywhere, Fort Erie, Ottawa, Montreal, and it just keeps growing and growing. And the problem is they're coming in from birds. So they're dropping off the birds and they're falling into the suburbs and people gardening. And
I
so
want to talk about you being an advocate right now. I know that there is there's a little bit of problems with treatment here in Canada as well.
Yes.
That's a whole other aspect of this. I know many Canadians go to the U.S. seeking treatment.
yes, I go to Buffalo. All the border guards are completely understanding because it's so typical that they see Canadians coming across the border. Unfortunately, most doctors here only treat Lyme disease for the 30 days, which are guidelines saying only 30 days of antibiotics and you're treated from Lyme disease.
And the medication can be expensive, and a lot of it is not covered.
My family spends $5,000 a month on treatment.
$5,000 a
$5,000
month.
Yeah, we're struggling to keep up the costs. Hopefully, to keep up the costs. It's, you do anything to get better, right?
Let's talk about some of the things you brought. So I don't want people to be needlessly scared.
Right.
Better protect yourself and know what you're
Right.
looking for. So
So
when
when
you're going through a walk in any woods,
Right, so any sort of, they don't jump and they don't fly, they climb up tall grasses and shrubs,
Okay.
and bare skin as you brush by or an animal brushes by is how they attach to you. So you really want kids to be wearing covered shoes, not sandals when you're out in bushes and tall grasses. Hats for sure, long sleeved shirts and tuck them into the pants, so really long sleeved even when it's hot in the middle of the summer. Long sleeve, loose, light colored pants, tuck the socks in so that the ticks can't get into there. And then you want to use some kind of insect repellent if you're going to be in an area particularly where there's ticks.
And you talked about monitoring. I have two small young boys that love being outside. What do
Yeah.
I look for?
So every day, particularly in the spring and summer, and when you're coming in from outdoors, you want to look head to toe. You're looking for anywhere from a pinhead size of a tick to up to a pea size, so checking everywhere, head to toe. Having a shower or a bath in the first 2 hours when coming in is also a good idea because that can help get rid of ticks. And then as soon as you see a tick, you want to remove it, because if you remove it before 24 to 36 hours, you can actually prevent infection from occurring.
And I've also read when you remove it to keep it so that you can then see if that could get tested to see if it had Lyme.
Yes, and on the Toronto Public Health website, there's sites where you can bring the tick to be tested.
so it's better to be informed rather than scared.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave the last words to you, Paige. What do you want people to know more than anything?
Just to really be cautious out there. I mean, as I said, take that 5 minutes to just check yourself over, check your children over, because instead of taking that 5 minutes when they come in, you don't want it to take 5-10 years for your child to get better. I mean, my family has seen me go through hell with this disease. It can completely destroy your life. Just be aware. Don't live in fear, because there's always things out there. Don't live in fear. Just, be prepared. And when you go outside, as you can see by all these things here, you can also, if you're interested, look up on Can Lyme about getting a tick kit to properly remove a tick. And
And
just
call your MP as well.
Yes, that is so important.
Yeah, because we
So
need to get
important.
some money towards
Get
treating
it,
this
get
right
it
here.
covered. Yeah,
we need
instead
that.
of all that, all those people having to go to Buffalo and across the border. And Can Lyme?
Yes.
CANLYME.
.org.
.org for all those details. So please, be prepared. And best to you.
Thank you
Let's
very
take a break on Breakfast Television. By the way, you can follow this continuing right now on our second screen, bttoronto.ca/extra, as we talk more about this on our second screen. We'll be right back.